Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to another Avalon Online devlog. I'm Marcato, lead developer of the project, and today, we're going to talk about what to expect from the full release, the Eladania zone, and some of our plans for the alpha server and upcoming beta tests. Whoa! Hello there! First of all, a huge welcome to all the new folks coming in from Squared Media, our parent company. We're excited to have you, and we hope you're all enjoying the alpha version. That said, I'm sure all of you are curious to know more about the full version of Avalon, and there's lots of gameplay we have yet to talk about here, so let's explore just what it looks like to play Avalon. Avalon starts you off in Liffentine, the tutorial zone. You'll start your first quests here, which will teach you how to play the game and give you tons of XP so you can reach level 5 quickly. Completing quests can help you unlock new dungeons and zones, and provide useful resources, so keep your eyes out for them. During the tutorial, you'll get to choose your combat class, which determines your stats. Your combat class will level up automatically as you earn XP from various sources. You'll also gain access to a set of skills that are unique to your class, which can be accessed by switching to your skill bar with the F key. Completing the tutorial questline will open up the rest of the game to you. You'll unlock your first dungeon at level 5, and after completing it, you'll also unlock the next zone and your first mount, which will make traveling around the various regions of Avalon much faster. You'll gain access to Altath next, the first open-world zone of the game. Settlements in these zones have large areas around them that are protected, so you'll have to explore a bit before you find a suitable place to gather resources and set up base. Speaking of resources, you'll find all sorts of them underground and on the surface, from new metals and gems to new types of wood and crops. Keep your eyes out for bubble coral in the caves and tall trees with azalea leaves. These gather points are on a 1-hour cooldown, so if you want to get lots of materials quickly, keep exploring to find more. And from there, you have your world to explore. You'll do quests to unlock new features, explore to find resources, build your own bases, and run dungeons and hunt monsters to get XP and level up your class. There's a lot more I could say, but we have plans to create a formal getting started video in the future, so stay tuned for that. As you play through Avalon's campaign, you'll encounter level barriers every 10 levels. In order to unlock higher levels, you must complete special objectives. In the alpha version, this is done by crafting limit breakers. However, in the full version, those unlocks could include other objectives, such as completing a specific dungeon, defeating a boss, or finding a special item. But there is a limit to just how high you can level. This is what we call the level cap. In the alpha version, the level cap is 30, but in the full version, the max level will be 50, at least until we add more. That's right, over time, we plan to increase the level cap regularly. With every major patch, we'll introduce 10 more levels of content. That means new materials and items, new quests, new dungeons, and even new zones. Speaking of dungeons and zones, let's talk about what exactly they are. Zones are custom-generated worlds that you can explore and gather resources from. Each zone was carefully designed by our team and features a ton of custom biomes and exclusive materials. Zones get tougher and tougher as you get further into the game, so you'll want to make sure you keep leveling up your class and upgrading your equipment so you can explore them safely. You'll spend most of your time in these zones. For the full release, we have a total of 7 major zones for you to explore, but some of them will have to be unlocked by playing through the game. We'll actually be showing one of them off later in the video. Dungeons, meanwhile, are special challenge maps that you can take on with your friends. They consist of strong and unique monsters, including a mini-boss and a boss at the end. Completing these dungeons will earn you valuable rewards, including rare materials, enchantments, and tons of XP. Be careful going in alone, though. Dungeons are much harder without some allies to back you up. In total, we have 8 dungeons planned for release. There's almost 1 dungeon every 5 levels, so you won't have to play too long before encountering them. Phew! Well, are you still with me? That was a lot of information, but I hope it was informative. The crazy thing is, we haven't even shown you half of what the game has to offer yet. we're intentionally keeping a lot of the higher level stuff very secret so as not to spoil the surprise. We also have a lot of new features that we haven't talked about yet, including the entire endgame, item customization, relic weapons, and maybe even an extra special type of dungeon at level 50 if we have time. So stay tuned. As promised though, it's time to show off another one of our zones, the frozen northern regions of Eladania. Eladania is our level 10 to 20 zone. This cold and mountainous region consists of towering peaks, ancient glaciers, and small pockets of warmth between the icy tundras. Long ago, this place was the battleground for many divine conflicts, which froze and scarred the land. As a result, this place is a hotspot for the Abyss and its attempts to invade the overworld. Fortunately, the people who inhabit this land have worked hard to keep the place inhabitable and fend off the foul creatures that would establish a foothold here. Speaking of Eladania's occupants, the capital city of Arbeth lies in the shadow of a massive mountain range in the middle of a snowfield. Carved into the mountain, you'll find forges, towers, and even the castle the king himself calls home. The people of Eladania defy the harsh, eternal winters of the north, flying their banners in warm colors and taking pride in their mines and metalsmithing. Boasting both the deepest coffers and the most powerful military, Eladania is truly a force to be reckoned with. But don't worry, hang out in the taverns long enough, and you'll be welcomed like a sibling in no time. Eladania's terrain is rough and unforgiving, but if you can survive the harsh conditions, there is a certain beauty to the snow-covered trees and fields, especially when bathed in the glow of the northern lights. The residual magic of the ancient battles from millennia ago still illuminates the frozen wastes. This place is just begging for an epic mountain fortress to be made. A lot of you have been playing on the Avalon Alpha server, a stripped-down version of Avalon's core gameplay. Hopefully this video has given you a better idea of how the full release will be different. I know the alpha version is pretty grindy, since there's not a ton of different ways to progress outside of just playing normal Minecraft. But thank you all for playing and testing out our systems. Your bug reports are greatly appreciated and will help us make Avalon plenty stable when we launch. The community has been providing us with a ton of suggestions, both for the alpha server and for the full game. We do look over them now and then, as it helps us understand what players want and expect from the game. We won't implement every suggestion we receive, but we try to consider them whenever they come in. That being said, updates to the alpha server are going to be a bit slow going, as we're more focused on completing everything we need for launch. However, we do have a couple things coming. First, the enchantment system is ready. We're just waiting for a little polish before bringing it in. Second, more uses for mana scales. They'll play a role in enchanting for one, but you'll also be able to purchase some other resources that are difficult to acquire. And third, more ways to earn money. We've heard you all, money is really hard to come by, so we're planning to add new things you can sell. Unfortunately, we do not have any extra dungeons planned for the alpha, as we want to save those for full release. But before Avalon can launch, there is something else we need to do first. It's finally time! This summer, we are planning to hold our first open beta. The level cap will be 30, just like the alpha. But you'll have our custom worlds, dungeons, and quest lines to do as well. It's our first full gameplay test of Avalon itself. However, open betas will only last for a limited amount of time. We haven't decided how long yet, but unlike the alpha, the servers will only be open temporarily. We are hoping to hold multiple open betas leading up to launch though, so if you missed the first one, you may get an opportunity to play in another one. We'll announce more details when we have an exact date determined. Now for our final topic, I gotta level with you all. It is a lot of work making this server. We've got writers, artists, modelers, programmers, everything you might expect to see in game development. But one thing we are particularly struggling with right now is builders. Our build team is incredibly talented, but it's a lot of work for a small group of people. I don't want to overwork them after all. So we're looking to add more builders to our team. If you're interested, join our Discord, linked in the description below, and check out our staff applications channel. You can find info about the positions we're recruiting for there. Just don't forget to send us your best work. And that about wraps up our devlog. Whew, that was a bit of a longer one, so thank you for sticking with us. We're really excited, and the whole team is seriously amped up. The end is in sight. We are growing more confident in completing the project by the day, and your support and encouragement works wonders for our motivation. Anyways, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you'll be notified when we publish new videos. And if you want to stay even more up to date, join our Discord server, where we are running our public alpha and often share fun little peeks into how development is going. Until next time,